Give me like 3 words to describe this season for Buck. What is his journey in what you've filmed so far?
Adjustment, leadership, Kinky.
All right. Save the best for last.
That's the last.
911, what's your emergency?
This is so exciting. 911 season 9. Did you ever think you would see the day?
No, I don't think you can. I think you'd be setting yourself up for disappointment if you started a TV show and you're like, I'll still be here in 8 years. You just never know if something is going to be successful or how it's going to go. And even a show like this, where look back to the pilot, it had all the ingredients, right? It had Angela Bassett, it had a Pete Krauser, it had a Connie Britton, it had a Ryan Murphy. All the ingredients were there, but you never know. So the fact that we're still here doing it is still something that I feel very grateful for.
A fan posted, like a season 1 versus season 9, pictures of everybody. And there was a picture of you from the pilot. You looked like an infant.
Yeah, a little baby. I was 26, but I was in many ways still a little baby. I had a lot growing up to do.
You're fired. What?
8 years of growing and maturing and having these people around me that have been such great people to learn from on the show. So it's been a good ride.
All right, now the first taste we got of season 9 was that glorious promo with, the 4 of you standing outside looking up, something was falling down. That kind of blew up the internet a little bit. Can you walk me through I love it. Walk me through how you filmed that?
In a big soundstage with a big blue screen behind us and with nothing to look at and hoping for the best.
The heck is that?
And saying things like, hey, is this don't make me look too silly. But no, it's, I think with promos like that, it's fun to just lean into the campiness of the show. The show is campy, it is cheesy, it does push the envelope or find the line on how far you can go into the cheesiness. And I think the promo should lean into that. That is the core of the show. That for me is the magic of the show. We're not hiding from that. We're wearing it pretty proudly. And they feel a bit awkward and clunky sometimes to make because you don't quite know what you're doing. But we've done them enough now over the years that we always have good trust in the people producing them, and they always come out in the end.
So then did you have any idea what you were sort of looking at, pointing at?
Sure. Yeah. We're told, imagine meteors are raining down in the distance or whatever. This camera is going to fly over your head. That's the thing. Then it's going to pull back and then they just use what they use from it.
Yeah, and of course everybody was wondering, where Athena and Hen were. Now we know they're in space.
In space.
I can't believe I let you talk me into this.
What was your reaction when you found out that Athena and Hen were blasting off?
I think my reaction was probably somewhat similar to the fan reaction that I had seen pre-trailer drop, where it's like, what? How is that happening? And then once you get context of why they end up there, it's like, oh, okay, yeah, I can ride with that. That's actually really cool, and I'm excited to see how that plays out.
Yeah, I mean, if Katy Perry can do it, why can't Athena and Hen?
Katy, that's what I say every day. If Katy Perry can do it, why can't I?
Well, then why can't Buck? I mean, when is Buck going to space?
This is true. Well, he doesn't get the invite. Buck is not one of the lucky ones invited to go up. Although it turns out Buck doesn't necessarily even really want to go up.
Does he have maybe a fear of? I would say a fear of heights. That's pretty high.
It's pretty high. I always like to say I don't have a fear of heights, I have a fear of falling from heights. I don't think he has desire to go up to space, which I was a bit surprised by because, in general, he's a thrill seeker. But, there are certain things I consider myself somewhat of a thrill seeker. And there are certain things I don't want to do. I don't want to even skydive, let alone go to space.
But I feel like this space storyline really, it separates the true fans from the fake fans, because if you are really in the show, if you're with the show and you're rocking with this show, there is no jumping the shark. This is exactly what we want from 911.
The shark has been jumped a long time ago. And so if you're still here, then hopefully it's because you're okay with that. I mean, literally, we had a shark on a freeway in season 2. So the show is at its best for me when it leans into the ridiculousness. And then when you end up grounding it in something and hitting hard, it hits harder because it's not a show that does that every episode, you know? So I think that's the magic of 911 is that it can do both things.
All right, now that we know Buck is not going into space, what is Buck doing in season 9?
Buck is running around all of Los Angeles dealing with the chaos of these space debris, meteor shower, whatever it is that's flying to Earth. And, you know, that means there's a lot of casualties and a lot of chaos for the 118 to be dealing with while Hen and Athena are up there. So we find ourselves dealing with some really wacky emergencies down on Earth and then some really high stakes ones as well.
Saving Mark Consuelos from a whale, no big deal.
As you do, you know, and Buck doesn't really get to do too much in that emergency. He's more watching from the sidelines, but it was a fun day to get to, first of all, have him with us and then down by the water. And he was put in some precarious situations. He was probably thinking, what did I get myself into here? But he dealt with it all with such grace and was just very kind and very gentle man.
He was on Riverdale. I don't think there's anything you can throw at him that would be too ridiculous.
This is true. Yeah, that's why they prepared him well.
Yes. You posted a really lovely message on Bi Visibility Day about wanting to kind of delve deeper into Buck's bisexuality and that aspect of his life. I was wondering, can you kind of elaborate a little bit just on what sort of you would like to see for him?
I think since we did his coming out, the reaction has been really, really positive. But I do know that there is a narrative in some people's head that, oh, Buck is now gay because he has only been seen with Tommy since. And I don't think from a hateful place. I just think people are ignorant to it sometimes, you know? So I would just love to have some storylines, which there will be coming up, where there's a bit more dialogue around the fact that he is a bisexual man and what that means and who he is attracted to. And the show is looking to dive into that as we go deeper into the season. So I'm really excited to get the chance to do that.
During Buck's, 7-season journey, did you ever sort of have like an inkling that maybe he was something other than completely straight?
It's hard to say because obviously we're all aware of the online discussion. And as much as you want to, whether it be not read it or read it but not listen to it, it's impossible to not be influenced by it, right? Like when you're being bombarded. So I'm sure, yes, I definitely have had feelings of it before it came to fruition. I don't know how much of that was influenced by my decisions, the script's decisions, or things that I had read that helped, form that opinion for me. So yeah, so it's definitely something that it had been in my head, yeah.
I think most fans would say season 2, episode 1, the moment Eddie walks into the firehouse.
Yeah, I think so. But even really, if you go back to season 1, there's an episode where it's a gay couple and it's a tapeworm emergency, and Buck is, borderline flirting with this guy, talking about his body fat percentage and what does he eat, how does he work out. You could even say there are breadcrumbs all the way back to that.
Hey, what's your body fat percentage?
I swing between like 15.
Okay, can we finish the most interesting conversation of all time later?
There have been crumbs. I'm going to go back and find them.
Okay.
I'm living in Eddie's old house, therefore I must be in love with him?
Are you?
In love with Eddie?
I know we've talked about this, but I did find it really refreshing that the show sort of tackled the question head on last season about whether Buck had these feelings for Eddie. And obviously he was very forthright and said, absolutely not.
It wouldn't be so crazy.
Well, except that I'm not.
Do you think that is sort of a firm answer, or is it something that you think he might still have rolling around in his brain in season 9?
I don't think it's rolling around in his brain. I don't think it was rolling around in his brain back in season 8, right? It was something that was brought to him. I think he gave what is his honest answer in that moment. No, what are you talking about? That's Eddie. That's my best friend. We haven't gone back to that as of yet. Nobody's brought that to him again. But I don't think Buck is lying when he was answering those questions, right? That was his truth. Like, it was a bizarre suggestion to him. It was something that he had never considered before. And we have, as I say, yet to reevaluate or revisit that. So as it stands, that would still be his answer.
It's so funny because it's like there's the show I'm watching, and then you go online and you see like fans, and it's almost like there's like 2 shows going on. Like if you were to just look at what the fans are saying, the show is called 911 Buddy.
Sure. I mean, yes and no though, right? Because the internet is tricky like that, where if you read a number of posts that say that, then the algorithm serves you up 50 more of it. But there's also every now and then you somehow stumble onto a whole opposite side of the internet that has nothing to do with the first side. So, sometimes you find yourself almost in an echo chamber on the internet where you just get the same things repeated to you. So who knows if it's the whole audience or what, but you're right. There are certainly almost two versions of the show, or at least people take the show and run with it, which I think is great. I'm like, wow, these people really care about these characters and they're really invested in the show. And we make what we make, and then it's given to the audience and it's theirs to do with what they want and to interpret it how they want. And, my job when I walk off set at the end of the day is done. Then it goes to the editors or the directors, and then they get to make a version. Then it goes to the fans and they get to do what they want. And I just think that's a lovely thing and part of the process.
Of his previous relationships, are there any that you think you would want to kind of re-explore? Like, do you think there are any that he kind of like bungled and maybe like could be salvaged? Or do you think the past is best left in the past?
I think the past is best left in the past, but there are certain characters that I could see being in his life again, but not in a relationship sense, like going out for drinks with the Taylor Kelly. I always do that. Megan West was the actress that played Taylor Kelly, and I always go Taylor West in my head. But no, Taylor Kelly, like, what a fun, great character. I used to love their dynamic. Like, I could see them going out drinking together and almost wingmanning or wing-womaning for each other or something,
Look, your job is saving lives. Mine is telling their stories, even the ones they might not want me to.
Obviously this season it's kind of a new dawn at the 118 without Bobby, but it's also for you guys probably a totally different experience on set without Peter Krause there. How has it kind of been? Have you sort of been feeling his absence a little bit?
Yeah, especially, I guess this is an obvious answer, but especially in the firehouse and on the emergencies, it's those are where his voice was the loudest, as both Pete and as Bobby. No, there's definitely a hole left behind by him, and I don't think a hole that we're necessarily trying to fill. It's almost like when you still set the dinner table for somebody after they've passed away. Like we're not kicking his chair out from the table. It's like he's still very much a part of the narrative and a part of the story, just in a different sense.